Sons of American Legion Radio and CBSI Services have a chance to visit the offices of the Big East Conference and talk to a good friend of ours, many years, John Paquette. John, great to see you. Great to visit your new offices here in New York City.
Yeah, welcome, and we're glad you're here.
John, pleasure. We go back a long way in different sports activities, supporting college athletics. You started at Marquette and then got an opportunity at the Metro Atlanta Conference. Maybe tell us a little bit about the path that led you to a very distinguished career at the Big East.
Well, Marquette graduate, I was a journalism graduate, found out about this sports information profession, which I didn't know existed, frankly, before I got to Marquette. Was able to get my first job at Wagner College. A guy named P.J. Carlesimo hired me at Wagner College, and that was, quote, a good break for me. Went on the St. Peter's Metro Atlantic Conference, kind of reunited with PJ for a while at Seton Hall. 86 to 90, I was lucky enough to be there during their championship game run in 89. My familiarity with the Big East, I think, helped me get into the Big East office, and I've been with the Big East for a long time, fortunately, maybe 27 years.
Well, it's funny, you joined the Big East here. I joined my company, CBSI Services, so it was a good year, and we've both been with some very successful organizations. Now, you were working with two the preeminent figures in college basketball and really college athletics at the Big East, who I got to know when I was a student at Providence College, Dave Gavitt and Mike Tranghese. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to work with Dave Gavitt and Mike.
Well, Dave Gavitt, the founder of the Big East, and really one of the game's great visionaries in terms of forming the Big East Conference, putting it together, but also in the professional ranks. He was the one who started the Dream Team. He was president of USA Basketball, was going to coach our Olympic team in '80 before the boycott. So he has really been a visionary on just about every basketball level there is. Mike Tranghese, Mike was the go-getter. Mike got the work done. People say kind of Dave was the visionary. Mike got the work done, and then Mike took over as commissioner in 1990, about when I started at the Big East, and went for about 18 years and guided them through a lot of different things and continued success.
Well, Mike, as you mentioned, got so much done for the Big East. When he became commissioner, when the Big East became a football league as well as basketball and many other college sports. He was able to bring teams in, but in the end, it was very difficult to maintain the balance between football and basketball. The two sports, football has been going in a different direction, it seems. What were some of the challenges at the time that made it tough to keep the Big East together for both football and basketball?
Well, we were the only major conference that had some schools that just played basketball and did not play football, and then some schools, of course, played both. So that sometimes led to some philosophical differences, and sometimes, though, that just meant that I think some of our schools were more attractive to other conferences to join. As we all know, or many of us know, a lot of the finance and the money is in college football and college football regular season play. So that gives football a lot of power. So eventually, and we went through a long time of schools being added and schools leaving, and I think it's the basketball schools who finally said, we just want to go back to where we are. We started as a basketball-centric league. That's where we gained our success. We want to go back there and stay and get out of the football business and the football decision-making business.
Absolutely. I know Father Shanley at Providence College was one of the leaders in that, and certainly the league has been flourishing. Villanova won a national championship in basketball, tremendous credibility for the conference with that. Val Ackerman's done a tremendous job. We had a chance to meet her when she spoke at Providence College this spring at one of the college's 100th anniversary events. Just tell us about what it's been like to put this new conference format together.
Well, it's been great. I mean, really, it's kind of a back to the future type situation. And, as I said, the presidents, they wanted to go back to a basketball-centric league. And a lot of our coaches like to say publicly, every major decision in athletics is made with basketball in mind, which is different than a lot of other people, but we're doing a good job of surviving, I think. Right from the start, we were able to compete with the other major conferences, kind of computer-wise or RPI-wise, or however you want to describe that. We got our men's basketball tournament bids. We got our fair share of that. But what the Villanova National Championship did, it was kind of the final box to check. Success in the NCAA tournament is what we needed. Villanova won the national championship. And this past year, 7 of our 10 schools made it into the NCAA tournament. That's the highest percentage of any league in the country. So things are going well, and we're looking forward to another great season.
Certainly some great coaches in the Big East. With Ed Cooley's done very well, going from Fairfield to Providence, and great to see Chris Mullen on the sidelines at St. John's, and certainly everybody at Villanova speaks for themselves. Well, how important has just been the coaches that you've got attracted into the Big East and held on to for the success the basketball conference is having?
Well, we have a great group of coaches. We have, certainly I think you can argue that 3 or 4 of our programs at least are as good as they have ever been. Certainly, to use Villanova as an example, I think it's very fair to say the Villanova program is as good as it's ever been. They won the national championship. They won 100 games over the last 3 seasons. They're going great. And we have other programs, too, that we think have taken advantage of Big East affiliation. Butler, Creighton, and Xavier, the, quote, new schools when we formed this 10-team league 4 years ago now, they have enjoyed great success. So they've been able to take advantage of conference membership, too. So really, we feel like we're very strong.
And one of the elements that certainly you did at the Big East was bring national television in, obviously with your relationship started in the 80s with ESPN. That was a great partnership. And today in the new Big East, you've got tremendous television exposure, but also a lot of online outreach on different formats, which is so important today. Just tell us about how media has changed in your career. Certainly, the recent changes have been very, very substantive.
Well, really, Ken, when the Big East started in 79-80, that was when ESPN started. So really, ESPN and the Big East kind of grew up together. You had the big Monday games and those kinds of matchups when there weren't a million games on TV. So, and now when the new league formed, Fox was looking to get into the college basketball business, and the Big East was looking for a partner. So that's how that marriage was made. But now it's expanded into the online stuff. We have Fox Sports Go, which is the online app for Fox. We put our own stuff on our own Big East digital network and, social media, and, it's really kind of blossomed. But you need to tend to all of those mediums.
Absolutely. One of the big aspects at Sons of the American Legion Radio, our work covering veterans and the military, is healthcare, big focus, and certainly PTSD treatment for military veterans. You recently held sponsored a mental health seminar for both athletes and students, and maybe tell us a little bit about that and what were some of the findings and some of the information presented.
Well, everybody knows that college athletic departments have athletic trainers who take care of you physically. You have a sprained ankle or whatever your injury is, we take care of you physically. But what campuses want to do and what athletic departments want to do is we want to be more aware and make sure student athletes know that we also have mental health services. And a lot of people think we haven't paid enough attention to that recently, and it's growing. We're doing a lot more now. So every campus has mental health facilities, but one of the things that we found out early on is that a lot of kids don't know that it exists. They don't know where to turn to. So it's partly awareness, partly education. We're getting started with it. We had an inaugural mental health summit a few weeks ago at Georgetown. We're going to continue doing it and continue to try to make people aware.
Well, it's so important. I've had a chance to teach a little bit of sports management, and there are a lot of programs certainly around the metropolitan area teaching college students about how to get into the field of sports management. I find just one of the most important skills is writing, because we're writing everything from Facebook to Twitter and articles. What are some of the keys for someone who is interested in getting into this profession in college athletics or even professional athletics to get into the sports promotion side? What are some of the keys you found?
I think I agree with you about writing skills. I mean, everybody writes. Everybody writes emails. Everybody puts stuff on, or not everybody, a lot of people put stuff on Twitter. And of course, people in my business, the media relations business, we still write releases. Now, a lot of times it's not the traditional press release that we do, but certainly you need to be able to write. You need those kinds of skills. If you want to get into sports administration, and we all know that there are a lot of schools out there who have sports administration programs, whether it's undergrad or a master's program, but you know, we hire some interns here every year, and so we get a lot of sports administration majors. But if you don't have hands-on experience as an undergrad or while you're getting your master's, we're probably not going to take a very long look at you, because we want people with hands-on experience. It's a competitive field, we know that. So the difference a lot of times is the people who already have experience, so that when you come to us or when you're trying to start your career, there's less of a learning curve. You know, we don't want to have teach people from scratch. We like people who already have a little bit of hands-on experience in addition to their educational background.
Absolutely. And John Paquette, as we've shared a lot of years following college sports, you've been in the middle of a lot of big events. Are there a couple of highlights, major events that you really smile and you're glad that you were a part of?
Well, I've been fortunate to be at the Big East for a long time. And the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden is, to me, the event in college sports. I've loved being a part of it. And there's so many thrills from those years, and being associated, and more than just the games, it's the people, it's the personalities. You know, if your people ask me sometimes, you know, give me one or two games, I'd have to say when Syracuse and UConn played 6 overtimes in 2009, that was pretty cool, because that game kind of snuck up on you. You didn't know it was going to happen. You know, you get two really good teams playing, and then they happen to go overtime, and then the game just keeps on going. That was pretty special. And really, Villanova's national championship, you know, a year ago, I mean, to win the game on a three-pointer at the buzzer on a shot that you've probably seen 1,000 times already, and I hope you see another 1,000 times, you know, that's great for the Big East. So, you know, those are a couple of games that stick out.
John Paquette, Associate Commissioner here at the Big East. Great to visit and talk a little bit about college sports and get a chance to hear more about your career. Good to see you.
Ken, thank you very much.
Our pleasure. This is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio and CBSI Services, visiting the offices of the Big East Conference in New York City.